Proactive leadership, investment in education, and transparent electoral processes identified as key to the sustenance of democracy in Africa. Political leaders used the holidays to close ranks and strategize ahead of upcoming elections in Edo and Ondo states. And in Rivers, local government chairmen whose tenures expired Monday night have been prevented from gaining access to the secretariats in Rivers State. Also on Political Update today, the legislature and its important choices in the nation's political journey. We have these and more on our lineup. I'm Fisayo Ogunfuyi. Welcome. Let's start from Rivers State. The latest installment of politics in the state is that some local government chairmen who attempted to access their offices this morning after the expiration of their terms Monday night were prevented from doing so. Of course, it's a public holiday. They still came around. Let's get actualities from Kingsley Amajiri. Kingsley Amajiri is a reporter in Port Harcourt and is joining us live now. Kingsley, why are the LG chairmen, shall we say former chairmen, trying to hang on to their seats?
Okay, Fisayo, welcome to Port Harcourt. You know, it's a developing event in Rivers State. Recall that before now, there had been this issue with the succession plan for local government councils in the state. The Martins Amehule-led assembly, the faction, had amended the Local Government Act of 2018, extending the tenure of the current chairman that elapsed yesterday by 6 months. That amendment was also challenged by some council chairmen who are also loyal to the governor. And eventually, a state high court gave a judgment invalidating that extension, that it is unconstitutional, it's illegal and invalid, and nullified that law. Now, that expiration of the council, the tenure of the council chairman were supposedly for 3 years, and it expired yesterday. Before now, there have been this rumor that some of the council chairmen allegedly say they are not vacating the office, given that they believe that it is still an issue of subject to contention. Now, some youths who are loyal to the state government went, in fact, across the local government areas. They gathered at the various local government council headquarters. In fact, when we interviewed them, we have gone to quite a number of the local government. We've gone to Port Harcourt local government area. We went to Obiabo, Eleme, and also in Emoha. And those we interacted, they say they came actually to say goodbye to the council chairman whose tenures have expired, and they are also there to also ensure that there's not any attempt to cut away public assets. That is exactly what is happening at the moment to make sure that the various local government councils in the state.
They wanted to make sure that the goodbye is indeed goodbye.
Yes, for them, they say they came to say goodbye for the services you rendered to the state for the last 3 years, and in fact, and also use that opportunity to secure the council. And in one of the councils we visited, one of the council chairmen attempted to gain entrance to the local government council. The youth there resisted him, and in fact, they told him that your tenure has elapsed and that you did not need to enter the council secretariat anymore. But that is the scenario in the various council areas in Rivers State.
Kingsley will be watching this space. I want to thank you, of course, for always giving us these updates. Port Harcourt has been very consistent in serving us with different installments of political developments, one way or the other, from your state. Thank you very much, Kingsley. Moving on now on Political Update, President Bola Tinubu received guests on Salah homage at his Lagos residence. Political associates who were part of the callers who visited the president. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu and his Ogun State counterpart Dapo Abiodun spoke to journalists after their visit.
I believe that it is indeed a very unique day, that Eid falls on a Sunday. God is not a God of coincidences. It's not only the fact that it falls on a Sunday, it's also Father's Day. So we've come to greet him as a father, the father of the nation. We've come to wish him well. Thus far, the Lord has taken us, definitely repositioning the economy of this country. and without going through a bit of pain, like they say, there can be some gain. So I want to join him and encourage all Nigerians to be as persevering as they can be, because definitely there's light at the end of the tunnel.
It's work in progress. We believe that things will continue to get better. We believe that difficult times are behind us. So we all just need to, stay focused and continue to, do the very best. The minimum wage will get to the end of it. Let's just continue to, pray for this president, and to ask God Almighty to strengthen him, because it means well.
Of course, the president is on his way to South Africa to attend the inauguration of President Cyril Ramaphosa there. Moving on now, African leaders have been urged to allocate more funds to the education sector. This will help promote creativity and equip the citizens with tools for effective leadership. This was the consensus of speakers at the Goodluck Jonathan Foundation Democracy Dialogue held in Benin City.
The Goodluck Jonathan Foundation Democracy Lecture 2024 was graced by dignitaries from across the nations and African continents, with the theme Functional Education and Effective Political Leadership as Panacea to Africa's Growth and Development.
I want everybody to have to be well educated, but while making sure that everybody gets the education we want to, let us also see if the second option from Oluwa's people would also work.
For the former president of Kenya, Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki, and the Oba of Benin, Africa is already on the move, but not without the political will.
Let us intentionally empower our young people, intentionally allow ourselves to be held accountable.
We, political leaders, are responsible for taking the decisions that will allow our children and young people to play their parts.
There is a point of convergence between democratic values and the values that the traditional institution promotes.
Our vision for education in Nigeria is squarely on that.
Panelists advocate continuous interface among African nations for a more prosperous continent.
All right, to today's discussion. For the past fortnight, the nation has acknowledged its democratic journey, even as the legislature, that is the 10th Assembly, celebrated 1 year in the House of the Nigerian people. In sustaining the nation's democracy, however, many say the legislature has a key role to play. Now, Professor Paul Machi is the honorable member representing Enugu East and Isuozo Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives. If I got it right, he is also the chairman of the Nigeria-Irish Legislative Relations. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. My
now,
pleasure.
being a scholar, a professor of no mean repute, would you say that the nation is improving in terms of the quality of its legislatures?
I would agree with you in that sense. In affirmative case, yes.
Would you perhaps give us
yes.
reasons for this?
What you do look for in legislative making is to, one, it creates a framework for the orderly living in a society. Then in this case, the law on itself makes sure that we are the other person's freedom of expression stop, or his own stuff, that what follows behind doesn't affect the other person. So the balance between both is what the legislation is all about. In a democracy, if you put these two together, you find out that the legislation is actually, democracy is a key instrument. It's a key instrument that have actually ensured progress and justice in the system. Coming to the that of purely on legislation, what you will actually look out for is it transparent? Is there inclusiveness? All these things. And is there a lot of compromise? Because legislation involves a lot of compromise. One will actually say that legislation is where the ideals meet maybe the hard truth or the hard realities, where you go on for compromise, either by the ideas of other people. Nobody owns it all. It's either the neighbor thinks in different way, or you are thinking this way, but in legislation you try to accommodate everybody and make sure that you are not tyrannic by that. That means the will of the people is actually what you are gearing towards that, and not dictatorial or making the whims and caprices of one person. That's what's going on. But today, I will say that looking forward into the number of bills in the parliament today tells us that even the zeal at which most legislators come is just as enormous as astronomical and has never been seen before. Because the number of bills actually persists on ones you get in maybe in 1 year, in one tenor. But now, just in a year, you have had more than 1,000 bills after that have passed, say in the House of Representatives, for example, that have actually passed first reading. That tells you that the people now are also ready to work and are ready to protect the rights of the people. Because democracy is about where human rights will be respected, where the needs and values of people will be protected. That's what democracy is all about.
All right, let's look at what played out just now in the first clip from Port Harcourt. It's still perhaps a spillover of the relationship between the executive and the legislature in that state. In terms of the position or the posture of a legislative house, its perception of its role and the overall advancement or development of a society. What should be the role of the legislature, and what would you advocate in terms of the relationship between those two arms of government?
Democracy is about checks and balances, actually. In the case now, I think it calls to question where it seems that there is a bit of a gap between the legislature, because there's two factions in this case, and also the executive on the other hand. Sometimes it is where such things happen. Either the legislature is using their law to balance up, or the judiciary is actually making a mark to make sure to put up a stop to certain infringement from the executive or from the legislature. So in this case, I think the judiciary will actually come to play. The act from the judiciary will actually be the one that will actually give potence to where the right is. However, don't forget that our democratic process is still a work in progress. So some of these things are something that will actually make up what our democracy will actually be involved to be in the first future. Well, this is a case in point. That also it will come in a lot of states. Don't get me wrong. A lot of states will have this type of things in future, but this one, how we solve this determines how others goes. How the next states having this type of problem will also be able to parley it around. I also feel that if there is a rule of law, you respect it, and if there's the tenor is elapsing, you know the tenor before you started coming. So it's behold. But I can tell you actually that what the problem we are having here is the problem that emanated from the divisions in the legislature, which shouldn't have been. I also think that the problem has lingered long, that there ought to be a political solution to it at the moment, because you are actually toying with the life of the citizens. They need the state to move forward. They need effective legislation for things to move forward. A lot of things have gone wrong in the state that we need to find a very formidable framework to make sure that that state moves forward and that the legislative duties goes the way it should go.
So sorry to take you, on that detour because this an emerging story from Port Harcourt, and we had to keep an eye on it. And being a legislator in the House, we just wanted to see, if we could just provide some illumination. But let's talk about, legislation at the national level in terms of, the hard choices. What choices, do you need to make as a member in terms of promoting the cause of your people, and perhaps also looking at the leanings of your political platform? Do you get to, balance those? Or how do you, present some of the things that, are at the very front of your heart in terms of what you have been sent to do by your constituents, and then perhaps the party stance on some of these issues?
We have to marry both. I remember in my last comment, I told you that democracy has a lot of compromise. First, you came from a ward You came from a local government, you come from a constituency, you came from a state, and also you came from a region, and you came also from a nation. So you are representing all these things in a nutshell. Then, looking at this, you will also know that you have come from a party. Is it a majority or a minority? That also determines how you play your card, and also make sure you get something to your place. The vehicle of which you came to the National Assembly is the party. So you must bear in mind what is the party ideology, what is the party's, where are they aiming to see you in future, or what are you standing on the ethos of the party or not? Then, but more or less, you must also know that you are representing a nation. You want to make sure that it moves forward and not retrogressively. A nation, you must also be patriotic in certain things you do. Bearing in mind, that's where the compromise comes. Well, will this end you what your people will see tomorrow and say?
Let me tell you something about some of the things that constituents say in terms of the attitude of members or senators representing those areas. You come in your 4-year cycle advertising so many things, promising so many things from the podium. You get elected, then when you come originally, you are in open buses, waving and discussing with the people, you shake their hands and all that. Sometimes you even eat in their houses. But the moment they vote the representatives in, the jeeps turn from, these to tinted glasses. Nobody even knows when you come or go, whether you are in the vehicles. Do you still interact with members of your constituency? Or now that they have pushed you to Abuja, is bye-bye?
No, definitely it can't be bye-bye. Because on daily basis, they call you. You are quite close to the people. You still retain the same number they call you with. That means because what is there that a lot of people want their difficulties discussed with you, shared with you. You give them an idea. It is not just about what people think about maybe legislation. You're also there to look at people's needs. Not that you are going to solve every person's need, but you also want just mere discussions with you. So you leave those ones open, because those lines are what a lot of people feel fulfilled that they are talking to their legislator. You must be close to the people at any time of the day. Most times legislation by the constitution is a part-time, but I can tell you it's 24-hour job. 24-hour job is that somebody will call you at any moment of the day. Then, on the work you've come to do, you really, really, really need to identify with them, tell them what is possible and what is not possible. As of today, nobody lives in a tinted glass.
Okay, let me bring on board one more question before we end this segment.
Okay.
In terms of quality of legislation, which we spoke about at the beginning, and you mentioned the sheer number of bills that have been, at least past first reading. But in terms of the quality, would you say party affiliations, political affiliations determine what scales through as against the importance of those bills being proposed?
I would not say completely yes. I would not say completely no. But I will tell you that the leadership has also made a little bit of things to be equality, that you stand up and make your points. I am from the Labour Party. I have made a couple of number of bills. I've had more than 20 bills, and also a couple of motions, and a couple of motions. But what you also look at is this. The bills where you start noticing things about motion, about the party affiliation is something like electoral process and others, which I feel that at some point everybody will have a compromise that this must go. Remember, what happens in the House is that the majority may win at the end of it, but that may be a compromised majority, because whether you're in party A or party B, you look at people, when you come to them, you find out, please, look at reasons why this should be this. Look at reasons why this should be this. Many people understand it. You have come there to make friends and not enemies. When you go to them, you talk to them, talk sense to them. I believe the spirit agreement in that case succeeds. So it isn't about your party now. But what is about your party is what type of legislation are you going there to put forward? What type of bill are you going there to put forward? The bill you are going to put forward will be a bill that drive our progress, drive productivity. These are the kind of bills that we are putting. These are some of the things that may actually define you individually and also politically in that case, because you must also know that you are coming from certain background and you have to defend that.
Your performance is an examination to see whether they will send you back.
Of course.
All right, let's move to the next story now. A pressure group of Southern extraction, the Citizens Network for Peace and Development in Nigeria, has urged President Bola Tinubu to remain focused on his renewed hope agenda and not to be distracted by critics bent on frustrating his developmental agenda for the nation. The group also noted the appointment of the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, by President as a good decision by the current administration in maintaining that the minister has achieved visible and enviable infrastructural development in the nation's capital in the last 9 months.
We have attained relative and realistic stability in the management of the Naira, and FDIs are growing by the day. The private sector is being encouraged with all the required support to grow and produce what we need and what we consume as a nation. Local content is being seriously encouraged, and the government has opened its doors to us Nigeria to build an all-inclusive country where no Nigerian is shortchanged by those who have invaded to destroy our nation by their own personal greed and aggrandizement. We are all well-meaning Nigerians and want to congratulate His Excellency, the pathfinder of our time, a man with a very large heart, an accommodating father, a principled and charismatic president, Jagaban Bogu, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, for what he's doing. Our praise also goes to Mr. Project, Nyesom Wike, the Minister of the Federal Capital Administration, who was appointed by the President out of his wisdom to see that those who are in Abuja will see the difference between the past administrations and his administration. The performance of Wike in the past 9 months is unprecedented. Those who move around Abuja will think that Abuja has turned into a construction site.
Before we go on political updates, the last line from our guest, Professor Machi. You are a scholar and now a legislator. Very quickly, what are the differences? Have you been able to study very well and come up with different positions from that floor?
Obviously, I think the taste of the pudding is in the eating. I've actually made landmarks. Well, my first bill was actually on the federal character repositioning, where the members of the as well to give account of what they have done to the House. And it generated a lot of controversy, but at the same time, this is the yearning of the people, where some elements of the country or some segments feel most times alienated from the mainstream employment schemes.
Time is not our friend, but are you encouraging other scholars like yourself, professors like yourself, to join, politics? Because a lot of people will say that, scholars like yourself could be a bit condescending when it comes to, coming to the political space and perhaps campaigning. Are you using this career as an advertisement to your colleagues as well to be a part of this, perhaps, so that the quality of legislation and, administrative impact will have some, details?
I think so. I am actually. It is nothing. It is no way condescending. I can say if I am not there.
I say some of your colleagues could be a bit condescending when they talk about politics.
Well, they could be, but one thing is certain is that if you're not concerned with what happened in politics is concerned with whatever your day-to-day life. And if you don't if the quality of people are lower, what you get in the society becomes also lower. So I also think that this is a good platform to urge most of our colleagues to join up. The quality of the legislation is not different from the quality of the people there. That's the basic truth. If you have good, you don't give what you don't have. It is when you have quality, the product also becomes quality. So that's one key aspect of it. And I also urge also, and if I am not there in the House, I wouldn't move the motion for them to be paid, for ASUS to be paid the balance of the 8 months salary they have not paid them. And that's because I was there. I feel the pang of the members. And that's why you need to bring in people. You need to bring people. It's not only being maybe going on strike or you need also to be involved with the governors of the state.
Prof, time is not our friend. We
Thank
have
you.
to
Thank you.
Move out of this lecture theater very quickly. We've had Professor Paul Machi, the Honorable Member representing Enugu East and Isuzu Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives. And we've had you as well, enjoying your holidays, watching Political Update today. We're back again on Friday for a fresh package. Between now and then, play your politics for the greater good and keep it locked on the Nigerian Television Authority, Africa's largest and finest, for news, views, reviews, previews, and interviews. Bye-bye now.